Welcome to this explainer. Usually when we look at geopolitical conflicts, all the focus is right on the front lines, or on these grand, sweeping political speeches. But recent data and transcripts coming out from inside Russia suggest something entirely different is brewing on the home front. Today, we're going to dive directly into the source material to trace how ordinary, localized grievances are escalating into very real systemic challenges for the Kremlin. Okay, let's just jump right in and see exactly what the data reveals.
Let's start by looking at this viral anti-war rant from a self-described ordinary mother. Now, what's crucial here is that she isn't making some grand geopolitical stand. Actually, she explicitly says she couldn't care less about gaining new territories. What she cares about, what she is incredibly angry about, is that this conflict is directly impacting her family. Her video went totally viral, pulling in thousands of followers in just a matter of hours. This tells us her very raw personal frustration is resonating widely. It's a massive shift from abstract patriotism to immediate personal anxiety.
So where is all that anxiety actually coming from? Well, it stems from tangible local realities. Take a look at this data point from the city of Tuapse. Residents there documented 4 drone strikes on their local oil refineries in a span of just 15 days. Citizens are out there filming crashes and smoke right in their own backyards. They aren't deployed on a battlefield. They're sitting in their hometowns facing disruptions that are simply becoming impossible to ignore. The physical reality of the conflict is literally arriving on their doorstep.
And everyday citizens are dealing with some truly bizarre, contrasting pressures right now. On one side, you have these extreme physical hazards, like reports of literal black rain falling in Perm, creating conditions that people are comparing to Chernobyl. And on the flip side, there's an intense psychological toll. Mothers are reporting that their 5-year-olds are having their morning cartoons abruptly interrupted by emergency warning signals. Add to that female journalists being shoved into vans just for asking technical support questions. It's this compounding daily reality of physical danger mixed with intense public panic. Now, this is where it gets incredibly absurd. To control the flow of information about these local disasters, the state heavily restricts internet access. But the cycle they've created is completely paradoxical. Think about this. A self-employed contractor legally requires a VPN to do her job, right? So she pays a tax to use it. The government then turns around, takes her tax money, and uses it to fund the exact systems designed to block her VPN. It creates this vicious circle where citizens are quite literally funding their own digital isolation. Let's put a price tag on that digital isolation to really give it some perspective. Simply trying to bypass these blocks to watch a single YouTube video can end up costing a citizen an average of 10,000 rubles. That equates to about $133, just for one video. Scrolling through Instagram could hit you with fines or data charges that cost as much as a new flat. The authorities are effectively trying to price the public completely out of the global information space, trapping them in a restricted environment so news of local disasters can't spread.
Which brings us to Section 1, the information blackout, looking at secrecy and canceled parades.
So what starts as an effort to block YouTube eventually balloons into total state secrecy. The government is pivoting to extreme measures to manage this localized panic, and their vulnerability is becoming highly visible. Traditionally, the May 9th Victory Day Parade is the ultimate state flex, right? Massive military hardware, tanks rolling proudly through Red Square. But the 2026 reality is starkly different. These grand propaganda traditions are being rapidly dismantled. Due to the very real threat of drone strikes, cities like Samara have literally taken down spectator stands and stages that were already built. You just can't project invincibility when you are actively forced to hide.
And to mask this growing vulnerability, the state is enacting some highly unusual, frankly Orwellian legal frameworks. Russian opposition analysts report the implementation of something called Secret Decree 605. This is a mechanism that allows the FSB to shut down communications and arrest citizens for violating the rules. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. The rules themselves are classified. So a citizen can literally be arrested for breaking a law they are legally not allowed to read. It's a stark indicator of a regime shifting to absolute control just to maintain basic order.
So what exactly are they trying so desperately to hide behind these classified rules? Well, as you can see, it's a wide spectrum. It's not just the grim realities of the conflict, like classified military deaths, or those horrific, unsupported battlefield conditions darkly referred to in the sources as cannibal battalions. They're also scrubbing basic economic decay statistics regarding oil and gas. But perhaps the most telling detail? They are classifying elite real estate records and official incomes. While most governments classify info to protect themselves from foreign rivals,
these specific blackouts are clearly designed to protect the regime from the anger of its own citizens.
Moving on to Section 2, planning for post-Putin and the propagandist predictions.
Now, here is perhaps the most surprising revelation in all the source material. It isn't coming from the opposition or those angry mothers we talked about. It's coming directly from the ultra-nationalist pro-war propagandists. There is a massive narrative shift happening among these defiant figures representing the so-called Russian Fellowship. They aren't debating if current leadership will survive anymore. They are taking a transition of power entirely for granted. Instead, they're openly and freely discussing the mechanics of how the current structure will fall apart and what they need to do when it happens.
To show you exactly what they're anticipating, let's look at a specific roadmap from prominent propagandist Maxim Kleshnikov. He maps out this incredibly grim four-step trajectory. First, he predicts a weak, indecisive new leader takes over and tries to normalize relations with the West. Second, that weakness sparks brutal clan wars among the elites fighting for whatever money is left. Third, a severe economic crisis leads to the chaotic dismantling of state enterprises. And finally, total demoralization, inter-ethnic conflict, and a violent return to the staggering crime rates of the 1990s. This is a bleak, inevitable vision of chaos, predicted not by critics, mind you, but by the regime's own former loyalists. The source material uses this absolutely perfect metaphor to frame this entire situation. A smoke alarm patiently waits until 3 a.m. to announce a low battery. Think about it. All of these things we've covered in this explainer, the viral rants from ordinary mothers, the canceled military parades, those bizarre VPN taxes, and the doomsday predictions of propagandists, they are the early annoying beeps of a much larger warning system. It's the sound of a system quietly failing in the background right before the real emergency begins. Ultimately, this explainer leaves us with a critical question to ponder. As this fortress cracks from the ground up, fueled by localized anger and systemic secrecy, what is actually going to emerge from the impending chaos? The data makes it clear the alarm is undeniable now, but the true shape of Russia's internal shift is still waiting to be answered. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning the world around you, and we'll see you next time.